Good evening. Welcome to Military Strategies. We are live right now, January 17th, 2026. The Ayatollah directly threatens Donald Trump, and Donald Trump clearly tells him it's time for a regime change in Iran. The situation is escalating toward war, and we'll cover it live on Military Strategies. Family, your likes, your comments. Today, once again, Iran Today, we begin.
Good evening, family. Welcome to Military Strategies. We're live now. History repeats itself. History happens again. History is once again in the house of Israel, in the house of Iran, in the house of the United States. War, as we know it, or as we have known it, is going to appear again over the skies of Tehran. What do I mean by this? In the coming days, weeks at most, we will see how the United States of America changes the course of a country once again. They've done it with Venezuela, and now they're going to do it with Iran. The Ayatollah has been quite busy today. He's made a public appearance. He did. Yesterday, Friday, he gave the khutbah, the Day of the Muslims. He began discussing several disturbing things. He began blaming Donald Trump for thousands of innocent deaths. He started telling the world that Donald Trump's going to pay, he's going to pay the price of having challenged the regime of the Ayatollah's dictatorship. But be careful, because today we're bringing sinister characters into this story that you can't miss and that will blow your mind. With what's happening right now and what's going on, what's happening in the streets is tremendous. The hospitals are full of body bags. And this doesn't stop. This just doesn't stop. So, family, welcome to Military Strategies. We are live right now. Thank you so much for the support you give to the channel. Every day, every minute. And let's see what the Ayatollah has said, what he has commented, what Senator Cotton has said, which is also important because he explained what's going to happen with Iran. But before that, we have to put POTUS in June on the last day of the 12 days war. That morning when Donald Trump told Israel, you have a 12-hour window to attack the remaining targets you need to hit after 12 hours. This ends when the 12 hours are up. Iran launches a final attack with ballistic missiles, killing and murdering Israelis and human beings. Israel launches its entire air force towards Tehran to take out the Ayatollah. And Trump said this.
Since Iran broke the peace agreement and continues to fight, do you think Iran still supports peace?
Yes, they violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Yes, I think Iran broke the combat agreement, but Israel?
You're also asking if Israel is committed, Israel, as we made the agreement?
They say Israel, as soon as we made the agreement.
They went out and dropped bombs I hadn't seen before.
They dropped more bombs than we'd ever seen before.
The biggest load that we've seen.
The biggest thing we saw was the final bombing in the last 12 hours of the 12-day war.
I'm not happy with Israel.
He says, I'm not happy with Israel.
When I say, okay, you have 12 hours.
He says, when I tell him, fine, you have 12 hours.
You don't go out in the first hour and just...
He says you shouldn't leave during the first hour.
Drop everything you have on it.
And you throw away everything you have? He says, I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either.
But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out to...
But I'm very... not satisfied. I'm not happy that Israel came out this morning.
There's a one rocket that...
Because a rocket...
That...
No, it didn't fall to the ground. It was fired by mistake.
Maybe by mistake it didn't fall. I'm not happy about it.
He says, I'm not happy with this. It's really not like that. That last part that Donald Trump explains. That morning, the last morning of the 12 days that we were also here, on this same channel watching what was happening that very morning. What was happening there was that Iran, to keep the last card and say they had won the war, outside the 12-hour window, launched a ballistic missile attack. If that morning Donald Trump hadn't written on Twitter and on his social media, Israel, turn your pilots back immediately. The war has ended today. Maybe we wouldn't be where we are right now. And Iran, that has massacred thousands of people, that continues to finance terrorism, that keeps building its nuclear weapon and that still has ballistic missiles. We need to be just as clear and forceful, and when it's time to criticize, what did they say? A wrong decision that surely Donald Trump is already realizing was a mistake, and that it didn't make much sense to have stopped. Israel, at the time, was doing a magnificent job. Images of Isfahan. It was destroyed by Israel and the United States. Cruise missiles were launched against that place, which was building a nuclear weapon. Missile launchers were also destroyed, and those launchers were also attacked before they could cause irreparable harm to innocent human lives. The situation we have right now is the following. I'm not going to lie to you. Everything seems to point to that there is going to be an attack on Iran in the next few hours. Possible movements toward Diego Garcia. Movements that we had already been reporting for days were happening in the Atlantic corridor towards the Middle East. And of course, there were people who said, no, nothing is happening. No, nothing is going on. There isn't. No, yes, there is. Sorry. Yes, there is. Yes. There are important movements happening right now. Things are going on and they can't be denied. They're there. If the United States, within a week, when the aircraft carrier arrives, launches an attack, no one and nothing should be surprised by what will happen. But today, also precisely today. By the way, the United Kingdom is also bringing things, and they're using the airbase we talked about the other day, which was super important, in the Azores. Another story was added to this. The Ayatollah blamed Donald Trump today, saying he must pay for his actions. Essentially, he threatened the world's most powerful man. Directly, Donald Trump has responded to him, and now we'll watch it live. These are real-time images from Flight Radar. What's happening in the skies? If we went back, we would see a lot of planes, tankers, and cargo planes coming and going to bases in the area of operations. Careful, because Qatar has also spoken. The famous unconditional ally of the United States, a member of its royal family, has told Donald J. Trump a real truth. Let's see if he opens his eyes and realizes that the only one who provides him with strategic security is Israel, not Qatar, not Saudi Arabia. No nonsense. Let's see if he realizes it with this, but we'll see that now. What did the Ayatollah say? Well, let's play it. We have the courtesy of having it subtitled in Spanish for those who aren't very interested in learning Farsi.
And the babies came.
He says, today you see how I'm going to put it here. There it is. We're around there. He says, today you can see how the United States surrounds a country in Latin America.
In Latin America, country.
They take certain actions against them and they feel no shame.
Then the babies arrived and threw unfamiliar bombs.
They openly say it's for the oil. For the oil? We do it for the oil?
For the oil, for the oil. We do this for the oil.
Well, we already know that in Farsi, naf means oil. You see? We're learning things. He said this, but then he got even more excited, of course. They didn't translate this part at first.
It's not just oil, it's oil.
Here, the Ayatollah gets excited and starts saying what you're about to see. Now I'm going to start reading to you because it was epic. In a few minutes, important statements will be made at a meeting with thousands. This is what we were seeing, he says. Like this.
Consideramos culpable.
To the President of the United States of America for the casualties, the damage, and the slander he inflicted on the Iranian nation. I repeat and pay attention with this. We consider him guilty. The President of the United States guilty for the casualties, the damages, and the slanders he inflicted on the Iranian nation. So does that mean that the penalty for that guilt of the United States is death? The recent sedition was a sedition by the United States. The United States planned it and carried it out. The goal of the United States is to devour Iran. Does the Ayatollah say that the United States wants to go after Iran? Since the beginning of the Islamic Revolution until today, the dominance of the United States over Iran has disappeared. They are considering regaining military, political, and economic control over Iran. In the past, there were no seditions in Iran in which second-tier media and politicians from the United States or European countries were usually involved. Did he take part in it? What was different about this sedition was that the President of the United States himself intervened in it and encouraged the agitators. Once again, Khamenei points at Donald Trump. The President of the United States sent a message to the insurgents. We support you militarily. That is to say, the President of the United States himself got involved in the sedition. These are crimes. The President of the United States referred to this group that destroyed property, set fires, and killed people in Iran. Like the people of Iran, that is, he made a great slander against the people of Iran. We consider the President of the United States guilty for this accusation, Ali Khamenei. Not only this, because he says so. So, we hold the President of the United States responsible for the casualties, damages, and slander. The recent sedition was from the United States. Will they pay for it? Let no one doubt Donald Trump will pay. If we quell the sedition, yes, we will quell the sedition, but that's not enough. The United States has to be held accountable. We have no intention of taking the country to war, but we will not set internal criminals free either. Even worse than the internal criminals are the international criminals, and they will not go unpunished either. The United States had prepared numerous preliminaries to set this sedition in motion. This sedition was the prelude to larger-scale actions. On January 12, 2026, the people of Iran defeated the United States and crushed the sedition. The perpetrators killed several innocent people, including a 3-year-old girl. They were armed with both firearms and bladed weapons, and all of them came from abroad. The United States and the Zionist regime committed crimes, destroyed 250 mosques, 250 schools and places of scientists, damaged the electric industry, banks and medical complexes, and killed thousands of people. That's it. What's going to happen there? Donald Trump, he has responded. Donald Trump responded to the Ayatollah. We are live right now. Family, well, seeing this, we can make one thing clear. The Ayatollah doesn't realize what's happening in his country or in the country he has taken hostage. He doesn't realize it. The Ayatollah, he directly blames the United States of America, threatens the national security of the United States of America, threatens the security of Donald J. Trump. This can't be left like this. This can't be left like this. He says this ended on the 12th. Just yesterday, footage from just yesterday, he's lying. This isn't over.
What are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
Taking kidnapped people.
En ca-
Imprisoning a lot of people. But you haven't seen the best part yet. Get ready, because now comes the best part. This is just like Venezuela with the colectivos. There's no difference at all. It's the same modus operandi. It's the same way of destroying the people.
I'm going to die! I'm going to die!
I'm going
To die.
What they also call me personally, what also catches my attention is all these defenders of human rights, women's rights, Feminism 2030 agenda. Where are all these people? Where are the demonstrations in Madrid to free Iran from the dictatorship? Where are they? Are they anywhere? There's no cycling tour right now, no sporting event where you can wave an Iranian flag and say freedom for Iran. There's no council of ministers to ban any commercial contact with Iran. Any restrictions on the ghost tankers crossing the Strait of Gibraltar and not being stopped? By Spain, for example? None of that exists. Nothing is being done. No, nothing is being done. Nothing is being done because the lives of Iranians don't matter. Because the person funding it is the reason people go out with the Palestinian flag and protest for free Palestine in the streets. They are the same ones who pay Hamas, and the one who pays Hamas is Iran. You're not going to rebel against the one who's paying you. That's clear. It's obvious. And there's also a situation. The United Nations isn't there. There's no United Nations Relief and Rehabilitation Administration in Iran. There are no NGOs in Iran. They should care about the freedom of millions of women and men, but no one does. Since there's no money, let the Iranians handle it themselves. Why should it matter? These images are Dantesque. I'm stopping the video because of how Dantesque it is. Can you imagine all that's there and happening? Look at last night. That's not oil. This is how Iran controls the streets, with firearms, opening fire, shooting at people. Expensive. There, this looks like October 7th. This looks like the Estorad roundabout. When the pickups arrived on October 7th, they started shooting at everyone. There's no difference between these guys and the ones from Hamas. It's the same. They're partners. Iran trained Hamas. Let no one forget. Let Israel not forget. But, well, among the serious issues in this whole story, because there are issues that are serious, it is Donald Trump, he wrote, I managed to cancel the hanging of 800 people for this Friday.
Good.
People said, be careful. They won't execute them now, so they'll behave well. Of course. Of course. Pay attention to the character who is about to appear in the image. Please, don't be alarmed. Keep the children away, because it can give you nightmares. This being of dark light, not just because he's dressed in black, he's supposed to be the head of Iranian justice. That's not. Attention. With this guy is saying the following. The executions are going to be carried out, all of them, each and every one. None of the detainees will survive. And this is not negotiable. The clock for the lives of thousands of detained people is ticking, an hourglass that's already less than half full. And the last grain is about to fall. Either we hurry up, or what is going to happen in Iran will make us ashamed for the rest of our lives. These sinister guys who want to dominate the world, who want to enslave women, they say they're going to execute everyone. That's not. The Attorney General is asked, what are you going to do with the detainees? Execute them. That's not it. The executions will be carried out as planned. Trump's post is unfounded. Brace yourself. Things will get rough. Things are about to get rough. The war is about to break out in Iran. But on top of that, this guy shows up here. Here, millions of Iranian women and men are represented. January 12, 2026. Wakil Kalibas, spokesperson. And I'm going to say, the President of America is arrogant and lives on another illusional planet. He's in another world. Attention, okay. The people of Iran repeat about our dear Haj Qasem Soleimani. They repeat what they said, what Haj Qasem Soleimani said. Killed by a drone on Donald Trump's orders. They cut him into pieces. Oh, Trump. You're a player, we're your rivals. It's not. You've turned the commander of the resistance into a martyr. Thinking that's how to break the resistance. But anyway, today the very doctrine of resistance has become global. A global movement that has made Israel's enemy miserable. They're not going to change, not even for a moment. By the way, they've taken pictures of us. You have to see these pictures. It's amazing. If yesterday we were amazed by this Viper-style photo, okay, Viper-style family photo, we're live right now. 9:28 in Spain. Darkness over Iran. Photo Viper. Oh my God. Viper, the regime's wounded. Oh my God. This is incredible, huh? What's happening right now is incredible. What did Cotton say? Be careful, there's been an attack. Let's see, breaking, there has been an attack and Trump has responded. Now we're going to read this. Trump's response. Breaking news. Isn't that breaking news, family?
Yeah.
Pay attention to this story. Pay attention to this story. Breaking news, has there been an attack against some protesters in Europe? One of the many infiltrators in beloved Europe. Or did he just start following orders? There it is.
Gabincha, Gabincha, Gabincha. Gabincha.
In Germany, there was a protest to complain about the Ayatollah, and someone showed up with a knife to solve the problems.
That's not.
Good. The other one is saying death to Khomeini.
That's oil. It's oil. That's not oil.
He's not the only one. There have been several others. This is what I mean, that in Europe there's a problem because they've let anyone in without any kind of vetting of security. And now the streets, at any moment these people could start to show up. It doesn't have to be 50, 60, or 100. Just two terrorists with the intention to do harm are enough to create real chaos in cities like Berlin, Paris, Madrid, or Barcelona.
No.
If people don't want to see it, they don't want to realize what's happening in this world. Are they going to have a problem when one day one of the victims is them or someone in their family, just because they didn't want to realize it in time? The longer it takes to get rid of the Ayatollah's regime, the worse things will get for us. In general, and this isn't a prediction or a prophecy, it's a fact. According to international security agencies, Iranian funding of global terrorism is the greatest threat to humanity. Well, I think we have a problem. I think we have a serious problem. But a really serious one. If they attack Iran now, besides launching missiles, they'll come out with knives in the streets. What's going to happen to Europe? What's going to happen to the world? A network of sleeper cells all over Europe and the whole planet, waiting for the call. From Hydra to create chaos among the population. That's right. Some protests sing, ask for freedom. Others go with knives and machine guns, silencing voices. That's their democracy. Tremendous, tremendous. Family, all right, what did Senator Cotton say? Because I think the key is here. We're still live, family. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I recommend it. I recommend you hit the bell so that when we go live, you get notified. And also, I'm letting you know from now on, the live streams. There won't be a half hour before, or 20 minutes or an hour, or waiting 15 or 20 minutes for people to arrive. From now on, there are going to be breakings, meaning we start and that's it. Boom, the news breaks, bombing, attack, there's no waiting. Subscribe to get the notification, or you'll miss it. What did Senator Cotton say? What did he? Shall we listen to him over here? We have 411,000 followers. We're already on our way to 12,000, on the way to 500,000. Family. We started in 2023 with 5 people live, and look at how far we've come. Thank you so much, really. I'm trying to do the best I can within the possibilities we have, which you already know are limited. But what Cotton said, I think it's good to see it. The senator... Let's take a look at it.
Well, Aisha, our military is always planning multiple options related to Iran.
The military has always planned multiple options in relation to Iran.
That's not oil. That's not oil.
Especially because of the threats of elimination for so many years.
This is a prize. It's not an oil. Steps right now, as you just mentioned, to give the president multiple options.
We are taking the right steps to give the president the options.
Well,
now there are multiple options.
Is it true this isn't considered an attack on their nuclear program, or does he say otherwise?
Does he say this isn't true? Hold on, let's listen again.
It's true this isn't the same as attacking its nuclear program.
He says he's assuming there's going to be a strike. He says this is not going to be a strike, meaning it's not going to be an attack against the nuclear program.
That's not oil.
Or an operation like the one to detain Nicolas Maduro.
So that this might be more wide-ranging.
He says this could be broader and on a larger scale.
But ultimately, what we want to do
is put maximum pressure on the Ayatollahs.
Los Ayatollahs?
And minimize
civilian deaths.
That's not oil.
He says, and we have a great menu of options, not just military ones.
To do that or this?
Attention with the cocktail. It seems when Cotton speaks, the price of things goes up. Our army is always considering multiple options regarding Iran, given the threats that have come from there for years, so that doesn't surprise us. We are taking prudent measures at this time, as you just mentioned, to give the president multiple options. Now, is it true that this wouldn't be an attack on their nuclear program or the operation to stop Nicolas Maduro? This could also have a broader scope.
That's not, oh my God.
And what did Donald Trump say? Breaking news, and a while ago, what did Donald Trump say? Attention, family. You're gonna be shocked. It's not oil. Donald Trump, in a devastating statement, has said that Trump has asked a new leadership for it. It's time for a new leadership for Iran.
Well, let's see.
Excuse me, Trump has said. I repeat, it's time for a new leadership for Iran. It's time for a new leader to govern in Iran. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, there's not going to be any Maduro Delta operation here. There's not going to be any kind of operation here. They're coming here with B-52s, B-1S, and B-2S to take down the Ayatollah. Wherever he is, wherever he shows up, they're going to take him out directly. They're going to blow them up. 100%. Get ready for this. He's not joking. Trump is not joking. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Well, and how would that be? How could an operation like that happen? Something bigger, he said. Cotton commented, well, there's a lot more news that we're going to look at calmly now, after the bombshell that Donald Trump just dropped. That's not oil, it's an oil. Have they talked to more senators? By the way, breaking news just in. Well, the night is starting to get lively. The night is starting to get lively. That's not oil. 9:39 at night, January 17th, 2026. That's not oil. They've done it again. The leader of Al-Qaeda, Bilal Hassan al-Jassim, linked to the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria ambush, has been sent to the Virgin Islands for an ambush. With the creator, they have taken out the leader of Al-Qaeda, Bilal Hassan al-Hassin, in Syria. By the way, speaking of Syria, by the way, let's stop the music. Al-Yolani is going too far with the Kurds. Al-Yolani is going way too far with the Kurds, and Zedkon has already told Al-Yolani to immediately stop massacring the Kurds. I don't understand something about Al-Yolani. Seriously, once a month we have to see him massacring people. Once a month he brings out the horde to feed them. It's like someone with rabid dogs saying, we need to let them out so they can relax. One month he sends them against the Druze. Another month he sends them against Christians and Alawites in the north. Then he goes after the Kurds, then after the Jews. Well, the one who walked around the White House and wears a Donald Trump cologne is now massacring Kurds. And what do we do with this? That's not oil. Well, Israel knows what needs to be done. By the way, the Kurds, good allies of Israel? All right, that's happening up north in Syria, the Aleppo area. Aleppo in Arabic, it's happening there right now. A military operation supported by whom? By Turkey, which, by the way, Donald Trump, without consulting Israel. And they've already called Marco Rubio. Another breaking news, do they want to place Turkey in the political management structure of Gaza in the second phase? Get ready. Israel has said there's no way. I think the only thing missing was the Muslim Brotherhood controlling the government of Gaza. Forget it. This Israel is unacceptable. They've already called Marco Rubio and told him, hey Marco, what's going on here? What are these comments and stories? What's going on here? Shall we talk now about another topic? We mentioned the Muslim Brotherhood. Qatar. To be amazed by Qatar. Someone from the royal family has made some rather explosive statements, let's call them that, inflammatory. The United States is simply a tenant of a military base in Qatar. So don't act like you're doing us a favor, because everyone knows that the presence of that base benefits you much more than it benefits us. If Qatar decides to dismantle the base, that's not the United States' property on their territory. It wouldn't harm us much, but for you, it would be like cutting off a hand in the Middle East. Says a member of the Qatari royal family about the Al Udeid base. Well, member of the royal family. They have 3,000 since they have 7 wives and 20,000 children with each one. What is true is something. The United States is realizing that those kinds of long-term bases don't work well. Check this, it might be related. The United States has evacuated a base in Iraq and handed over command and control to the Iraqi army forces. And really, in what's about to come, in what's coming, Al-Judaid and all these bases will be targets for Iran's missiles. They make no sense. These bases are for projecting power in Asia, not the Middle East. You need to have military bases in countries like Israel, Cyprus, Greece. That's not oil. It's a type of oil. A reflection. Erike Variadiri, border stabilization is important. Israel.
Ni se te ocurra con Yola.
Sorry. Well, Ahmed al-Shahara, who now wants to be called that here, has already changed his war cry. I mean, these are bases looking at the map over here. These are bases that are way too close to Iran. The hope of survival in a saturation missile attack makes no sense. That's why the other day they evacuated the Al-Judaid base. Does it make any sense to have that base there right now? Look, the base is fine in times of peace. Because from here, a tanker heads out to patrol the Iraq area. Okay, that's fine. You can buy it. But in the event of a war with Iran, this base could be wiped out. That's a reality. We have to be realistic about it. Last time, during the 12-day war, they fired, I don't know, maybe 21 missiles and some of them hit. So this base doesn't make sense. Deploying Patriot systems to defend it is a waste and a loss of an important defensive capability. Why? Because are you taking those Patriot batteries to Israel? You protect Israel's airspace better. You give it much greater coverage and security. And you reinforce your security ring in the important part of this story. But placing anti-aircraft missiles at bases in northern Iraq, in Kuwait, in Qatar is symbolic. It doesn't serve any real purpose. I think that's why the United States has sent people to Djibouti, for example, to the Djibouti base. There is an ally right now, and we're waiting for updated satellite images to see what's happening over there. Of course, when these guys start launching these missiles, the short and medium range ones, you can't stop that. It's a total downpour, and there aren't enough missiles to intercept them. And it doesn't guarantee 100% destruction either. On the other hand, if you gather your entire air defense system in one place, like Israel does, because Israel is going to be attacked anyway, no matter what happens or what has happened. They're going to bomb Israel because they're crazy, because they want to destroy Israel. They've sworn it repeatedly. Even though those who swear it end up dead, like the two who were riding in the truck that arrived. An Israeli missile from the skies. Salami and Salisadet, these two sinister ones, and these they're already gone. Kaput, as Joter says in quotes, I like that tune, kaput. Of course, but that's not the problem. Even if you get rid of these two, the issue remains, because two more will come after, then another two, and then more and more. Either you end the whole regime, or this won't stop. You have to go after the Ayatollah and Arachi. You have to go after them. Ezequiel, you have to go after all of them. Because if you don't, this will happen to you. They'll launch an attack when you least expect it. And for now, notice that they're being, let's say, smart. Because they also know that if they launch a surprise attack on Israel with ballistic missiles, Israel's response, when the flames and fires die down, will be to take off with whatever they have or launch whatever they have and completely devastate Iran. They think it through carefully, but that doesn't mean they won't launch it. When they see that the Ayatollah is passing away or that the regime is about to fall, they won't hesitate. That's why I think Israel stopped the other day. They stopped Troya and told him to wait. Let's gather more air defense systems. Let's bring in the aircraft carriers. Let's bring in the Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. With the Aegis systems, the SM-6 and all these missiles to shoot down ballistic missiles. Let's protect ourselves well, just in case, which to me seems like a responsibility. But there's just a week left, only a week remains. And that's just around the corner. It's simply just around the corner. And they're going to fall. They're all going to fall hard. It's too much. But then, what would be the operation carried out by the United States of America? Well, listening to what Cotton has said, this would be an air campaign to blow up missile silos, launchers, Revolutionary Guard bases, and the jewel, the crown. Blow up the Ayatollah, blow up. Just like that, clear as day, the Ayatollah. It could have been his last Friday giving a speech. It could have been the last time maybe he was giving the sermon. It's going to be a show, huh? The cover of this, it's going to be a show. I'm telling you to get ready for what's coming. Well, everyone, thank you so much for being live with us. We'll see you soon. In a little while, we'll be back with another one of our usual favorite topics. Maduro, Petro Simbao, Canel Maduro, the Addams Family Collection back in action. Don't miss military strategies, right? Hi, please subscribe, like, and comment. See you soon. It's oil, not a type of oil.